get the first chapter to our new arc and a shocking revelation at the end. At the beginning, Natsu, Lucy, Wendy, Happy, and Shao reunite with Juvia, who once mistaken Natsu for Grey. Well, one thing's for sure, Juvia still has that love for Grey-sama. Unfortunately, she passes out because of a high fever she got from staying under the rain for too long. So yeah, she can get sick from her own rain. And considering what we learned in this chapter, she must have stayed under the rain for hours, maybe even days. Now, we learned that Grey and Juvia went off on their own, living together in this one house. No, they did not sleep together, so they're not in that kind of relationship. Anyway, one day Juvia noticed this black mark coming from the right side of his body, from his arm up to like the side of his face, but Grey tells her not to worry about it. Apparently, Grey has been gone for 6 months and Juvia has no idea where he is. And all she could do was wait for Grey at their home, hoping that he'll come back. Natsu promises everyone that he will bring Grey back, and the first idea he has in mind is to go to Sabretooth. Now, what does Sabretooth have to do with Grey? Well, that's not explained until the next chapter. We then cut to this castle or church or whatever inside a deep, dark, spooky forest, and this is the location of the new Dark Guild, Avatar, another Zareth-worshipping Dark Guild who plans to purify the world of those who oppose Zareth, all in the name of Zareth. And we're introduced to the leader of Avatar, named Arlok, but I'm going to call him Iron Mask because I don't know if I will remember any of these characters' names, but I am not kidding. He does have a mask which has a mustache on it. Even though we see a few members of Avatar, we see one who looks very familiar, and it is Grey. Yeah, he joined a Dark Guild. I'm not buying it. Yeah, I didn't buy it when I first read this chapter, and honestly, I was a bit iffy if Grey really did turn evil. But one thing's for sure, there has been a lot of Naruto elements in this chapter. Not just this chapter, but in the chapters to come later on. I mean, Natsu swearing his friend that he will bring her love interest back. Said love interest is the friend slash rival of the main character, and he has joined a team of evil people. So I guess in this, Natsu is Naruto, Juvia is Sakura, Avatar is the Sound Village, or the Sound 5, whichever. Iron Mask is Orochimaru, and Grey is now Sasuke? And the dark mark on his body is the curse mark. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Hiromashima is copying from Naruto, but you can't help but notice these kinds of similarities. But so far, good start to the Avatar arc. And although this chapter raises the question, why did Grey join Avatar? So Wendy and Charles are going to be the ones to take care of Juvia, while Natsu, Lucy, and Happy go off to find Grey. While Natsu, Lucy, and Happy were riding on this buffalo creature to Sabretooth. And one thing to point out, Natsu is not getting motion sickness on riding this creature. So I have this theory, since, you know, dragon slayers get motion sickness when riding on vehicles, when it comes to riding on animals, they don't. Which might explain why Natsu never got motion sickness when he was riding on Happy. So dragon slayers get motion sickness on vehicles, not on animals. Anyway, while riding, Natsu swears to Lucy that he's going to bring Grey back. Faces pretty close to each other, and knowing the fairy tale fans, they might call this a Natsu slash Lucy moment, but for me, I don't know, like, if you want this to be a Natsu slash Lucy moment, go right ahead. They arrived at Sabretooth, we get to see some familiar faces, but the one face that I was really surprised to see, and not gonna lie, was really funny, was Sting, because he got pretty fat. Which I thought was really funny, because how the hell did that happen within a year? Anyway, the whole reason why Natsu decided to go to Sabretooth was to find Rogue, and apparently he went off on a mission along with Frosch, so he runs off to catch up to them. And then Sting's thin again. All because Yukino used Libra's magic to lose the weight. Okay, what is the point of Hiromashima giving us these new looks for these characters after a certain time skip or a certain event happening if at the end they're gonna go back to normal? Wendy cutting her hair short, only at the end of the Taurus arc her hair grows back to normal. Natsu coming back after a 1-year time skip gets longer, scruffier hair, only in the next chapter he gets a haircut. Sting in this chapter all of a sudden is overweight and fat. And within a few pages later, he gets thin again. Hero, if you're going to give characters new looks, either stick with them or don't give them new looks at all. Especially since we're in a 1-year time skip. I mean, Jesus. I've seen other mangakas giving characters new looks after a certain time skip. Anyway, Natsu catches up with Rogue, who was accompanied by Minerva, and I guess Minerva's hair got shorter or something. I'm not exactly sure, but Rogue's hair got longer too. So he takes Rogue somewhere private so that he can talk to him, leaving Lucy with Minerva and Frosch. Now, we actually learned why Sting got fat, and apparently it's because Sabretooth had an eating contest. And we also get the reason why Sabretooth didn't join the Grand Magic Games. It's because it wouldn't be fun without Fairy Tail. So I guess that explains the rest of the guilds too, including Lamia's Gale. And speaking of Grand Magic Games, Minerva was still feeling a little guilty over the previous one last year, apologizing to Lucy, but she tells her not to worry about it. Well, I guess since it's been a year and Lucy had other things in mind, I guess it's understandable that she would forgive Minerva. Oh, another thing I forgot to point out. Minerva is no longer a demon. How did they reverse that? And especially since the laboratory was destroyed. Was this a special form of magic that I didn't know or something? I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, back with Natsu and Rogue. He and Minerva were assigned a mission to destroy Avatar, the same guild Gray is in. Quite a coincidence. And since Natsu now knows about this, he tells Rogue that he will take the mission and give the reward to him if Rogue and Frosch don't leave the city. Why is Natsu going so far to keep Rogue in the city? Well, this all goes back to the Eclipse Gate arc with Future Rogue. Now, we all knew that Future Rogue, before he left to his timeline, told Natsu that within a 1-year time, Frosch will be killed. How will Frosch get killed? He gets murdered by Gray. I have questions with this. The Eclipse Gate arc established that there are alternate timelines. Some timelines might go similarly to Future Rogue's timeline, but it can go differently. So what are the chances of this timeline that we're in right now would go through the same events as Future Rogue's timeline? Also, why the hell would Gray kill Frosch? Like, what could he possibly gain from that? Is it because in Future Rogue's timeline, Gray knew that Future Rogue would turn evil, so he tried to kill Rogue, but Frosch sacrificed himself or something? Was it intentional? Was it an accident? Also, if the reason why Future Rogue was like this was because of Gray, since he killed his X-Seed, then shouldn't he have gone after Gray? Shouldn't he have, tried to kill him since, he wants some payback or something? Honestly, I was a bit iffy with this chapter. I mean, I was gonna like it, but then bringing back the whole Frosch will get killed within a 1 year is actually kind of interesting. But then we learned how Frosch gets killed, and it just raises questions like, why would Gray kill Frosch? That doesn't make any sense. Now, despite me feeling a bit iffy with this chapter, there is some potential to it, but we'll just have to wait and see in the next couple of chapters how this will turn out. So at the beginning of the chapter, we get some information about Avatar. It apparently rose to prominence with the fall of the other Dark Guilds like the Erasian Says and Grimoire Hearts and Tartarus. And it's a religious organization of the Zaref Creed. Another Zaref worshipping Dark Guild. I'm glad that Natsu did tell Lucy and Happy about what Future Rogue told him, but he didn't say the part where Frosch would get killed by Gray. All he did tell them was that Rogue and Gray are gonna clash as enemies. He also tells Lucy and Happy about the black mark on Gray's body, which turns out to be the same mark that we saw on Gray when they fought against Margir. It was when he blocked that Memento Mori curse. It was a side effect for using Devil Slayer magic so fast, so Gray still has Devil Slayer magic, okay. And since Gray learned Devil Slayer magic too fast, he might have became some sort of devil himself. So Devil Slayers can turn into devils. Well, If Dragon Slayers can turn into dragons, I guess that makes sense. So does that mean that God Slayers can turn into gods or something? Meanwhile, back in Avatar, some of the members believed that the Magic Council might know about their purification plan. And with Arlok, I noticed that there was this smoke or air or something that's emitting out of the mouthpiece of his mask. So, I don't know why, the first thing that popped in my head was Darth Vader. I don't know when the anime is gonna get to this part, but I can't help but feel like Arlok might get this breathing sound effect for him, like, you know, something like from Darth Vader or something. Even though Arlok was aware of the Magic Council, he just doesn't give a shit and just continues praying, while the rest of the guild members, they come to the conclusion that there is a mole within their group. We get to learn their names, but let's face it, at the end of the day, it's not like we're gonna see these characters, so like, what's the point of learning all their names? But I'll tell you guys anyway. Okay, one of them's named Jerome, aka the scruffy, good-looking guy. Another one is named Briar, aka the token hot chick. Another character is Mary, the younger female character. Then there's Goemon, which the kanji for Goemon can also be read as torture, and he has kanji tattooed on his forehead reading matcha, referring to matcha green tea, so I call him Torture Tea Baldy. Then we get D6, who I think might be Avatar's equivalent to BG9 from Bleach or something. I don't know like what exactly this guy is. He's like clad in this weird looking armor or outfit. He could be like an ogre or something, I'm not sure. And then we get Abel, a mini Mr. Mime with a voodoo doll. Anyway, they all suspect that Gray was the mole, even though he was the one that suggested that there might be a mole in their group. And Avatar did do a background check on Gray, so they're aware of his history, and they know that he has no reason to worship Zareth. You know, it's good that they do a background check on their members. Just one thing. Why did you do a background check after he joined the guild? You know, wouldn't it make more sense if they did a background check before he joined? That way you would know his history, and that way you would know that he has no reason to worship Zareth. That way you could kick him out. Gray did tell Avatar why he joined the guild, and that is because he's after the Book of End. He's already forgotten about Fairy Tail long ago. He doesn't give two shits about anything else, and he'll use any means necessary to get that book and destroy it. So, again, drawing parallels to Sasuke here. I'm not saying it's like the same thing exactly. It's just, you can't help but notice these kinds of things. I'm just saying. But then again, when I first read this chapter, I was still iffy with Gray. I really have no idea if he has turned evil or not. I'm still not sure. But one thing's for sure, after what Gray said to them, they're just gonna leave him alone and no longer question if he is the mole or not. I guess they think that he's not. You guys are idiots. But it turns out their suspicions were kind of right about the Magic Council, as the squad was heading towards the forest where Avatar resides, and they are led by Gaziel and Panther Lily. Gaziel is a member of the Magic Council, and he is the leader of this arresting squad. How the hell did Gaziel get into the Magic Council? That's what I'd like to know, but hey, it's great seeing Gaziel and Panther Lily again. I really liked these two characters, and so I was really hoping that they'll get a part in this arc. So yeah, it's great to see them again. So yeah, this chapter was definitely interesting. It's not bad, but I am so worried about what's going to happen with Avatar. And we've already seen them doing some really stupid mistakes already. With Gray, has he really gone evil or not? Not sure. I was still a bit iffy with this. But he does really want to destroy End, so would he really go that far to join a dark guild to get his hands on End? Well, who knows. So Natsu's group arrives at Avatar's location. They'll infiltrate by going underground. It turns out that their location is a church. I thought it was a castle, but not really. So Lucy's gonna use Virgo, who she summons, and she's all tied up because, well, she was forced, so she punished herself. Okay. Anyway, Virgo and Lucy in her star dress Virgo form, which is a maid's outfit, no surprise right there, go underground, and they made it inside what looks like a torture room. While their infiltration went off to a good start, But then it started to go downhill because Natsu decides to yell out, "Hey, Gray, where are you?" This is why Natsu should never ever be in an infiltration mission. Ever. Never, ever, ever. So everyone, including Gray, hears Natsu yelling, and they're already confronted by Abel. Holy crap, I actually remember that guy's name. Yeah, that voodoo doll that he had before, turns out that was Mr. Kersey. That one guy back in Terror Island in Grimoire Hearts had, who fought against Lucy, Natsu, and Happy. Oh shit, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, guys. I really forgot his name. I know what he looks like, but his name, I just completely forgot. And, okay, I do know that he is one of the two people that witnessed Zareth killing Hades. So, it's been implied in this chapter that he survived. Because, according to Abel, he got Mr. Kersey from this guy that used to be apart from Grimoire Heart. So, the big guy survived? Because I thought Zareth killed them and, blew up the ship. I mean, how the hell did they even survive from that? So, and if the big guy is alive, then does that mean that the other guy... Fuck! I forgot his name too. Guy with the glasses fought against Elfman and Evergreen and Terror Island. I think he has that imagination magic ability. Fuck, I don't know. But yeah, did that guy survive too? And why the fuck would they even be alive? They should have been dead. Like, whatever. But they were hyping up this Abel kid, saying that he has great magic power. Be very careful. And then Natsu just, pops up right in front of him and fire karate chops him at the top of his head, knocking him out onto the floor. That's it. And then you have T-Torture Baldy, who unleashes all these torture tools, but they don't work. So he traps Natsu in an Iron Maiden, but Natsu was able to melt it. Well, no shit, because he has Fire Dragon Slayer magic. And he fire punches T-Torture Baldy in the face, which actually is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But that's the second member of Avatar that gets defeated so easily by Natsu. Oh, 3 things to point out. 1, the room that they were in, this torture room, is actually T-Torture Baldy's training room. Ew. Second of all, this place is Virgo's equivalent to Disneyland because it looks like that she's having a wet dream. 3, what the fuck is up with T-Torture Baldy's eyes? Because when they open, they look like these big-ass, wide moe eyes. It's kind of creepy. So yeah, that's 2 down. I'll actually make that 3 because a big ogre guy shows up and tries to attack Natsu, but he gets taken down with a fire kick. 3 members of Avatar defeated so easily by Natsu. What the actual hell, Avatar? Look, I get it. It's Natsu. He's powerful. I understand that. But to have, 3 of these characters in this dark guild, they're supposed to be like the main antagonist of this arc, defeated so easily within 1 chapter is just... Really? Well, on the plus side, at least Gray shows up at the end of the chapter, so Natsu versus Gray in the next one. That's definitely something I'm looking forward to. Okay, the Natsu and Gray fight technically was just a sample for their eventual battle, when they will get to that once Gray knows that Natsu is end. I mean, it's obviously gonna happen, but this unfortunately was a bit short. It was only 5 pages long, but it was a pretty good 5 pages. Just seeing Natsu and Gray exchanging blows and even using fire and ice magic, even if it was 1 time, it was still pretty cool. I just wish that the fight lasted a little longer, but during their fight, Natsu was telling Gray that they came all this way here so that he can come with them and revive Fairy Tail and bring him back to Juvia. But Gray doesn't care about Fairy Tail anymore since it's long gone. And even if it does revive, Gray still doesn't care because to him, Fairy Tail doesn't exist inside him anymore. This pisses off Lucy and she just walks up to him, slaps him in the face, and says, "How dare you say something so insulting?" And then she cries right in front of him. Oh, I don't blame Lucy for doing that, but I wish she could have kept it together, but okay. And then all of a sudden she's feeling unbearable pain on her stomach, and it was all thanks to Mary's black magic, whatever her magic ability is. Natsu and Virgo get caught in magic seal stones, So, T-Torture Baldy is okay. Well, that's good, even though he got one-shotted in the previous chapter, but yeah, he still managed to get up. Also, another thing, T-Torture Baldy also says T at the end of his sentences. Oh, and Abel's okay since he used Mr. Kersey on Happy. I guess he managed to get a hair on Happy without him noticing. I don't know. So yeah, they're all captured, and Natsu still tries to convince Gray, saying that he's possessed by demons, assuming that he succumbed to the dark side with the side effect of that Devil Slayer magic. But for Gray to convince Natsu even further that he forgot about Fairy Tail, he showed him the mark where Fairy Tail used to be, and it has been erased and replaced with the mark of Avatar. Meanwhile, we see Gajeel, Panther Lily, and their squad, and they're met by Levy, who has also joined the Magic Council. So that's cool. I mean, it makes sense for Levy to join, so it was cool seeing her again. So it turns out that she infiltrated the crowd of worshippers just to gather some intel on Avatar. It seems that they're aware that Gray joined Avatar, so it's definitely hinting at that he is the spy. He is the double agent for the Magic Council. So yeah, Gray, definitely not evil. But it seems that Hiromashima doesn't really want to reveal that in this chapter. It turns out that the Magic Council hasn't gotten any word back from Gray, so they assumed that he got consumed by the darkness from Avatar. And, well, according to Gajeel, if that's the case, all that's really important is to stop Operation Purification. If Gray has been consumed by the darkness and joined Avatar, well, he is no longer their friend, especially if it's someone who will carry out Operation Purification, killing a great number of innocent people. That's a pretty good logical resolution right there for Gajeel, so kudos to him, and it actually makes sense. Because even if Gray has turned evil, hypothetically, of course, I still don't believe it, they have to focus on stopping Avatar and saving a lot of innocent people. And that's the most important thing, so kudos, Gajeel. Although, I hate the fact that at the end of this chapter, it seems like it's hinting a confrontation between Gajeel and Gray, which is actually something I kind of wanted to see, but it doesn't really happen in this arc, unfortunately, which is a bummer. But things have definitely took an interesting turn in this chapter, so yeah, it's a pretty good chapter overall. So Natsu, Lucy, and Happy are in a jail cell, and they're being supervised by T-Torture Guy, while the rest of Avatar left the church to carry out Operation Purification. There's this stupid joke where Goemon is cosplaying as a ref or something, and the kanji that he got tattooed on his forehead was supposed to say Zaref, which doesn't. It reads matcha. So, pro tip for anyone who wants to get a tattoo of a word in a different language: be sure to know the actual writing of that word in a different language, because if the tattoo artist screws that up, it will say something different. So he decides to torture Lucy so he can get some info on who sent them by using various torture methods that come off as S&M methods. I'm really not kidding. I mean, the whipping, hot wax, bondage, licking feet. Well, actually, some of these methods are torture methods, but the rest just come off as fucking S&M. I mean, what the hell? And the method that's going to be used on Lucy is a goat licking her feet, which are going to be soaked in salt water to the point where the goat's dry tongue is going to shave off the flesh of the feet. So yeah, that's pretty painful. But he didn't get any info from Natsu, and he just kept saying that Gray is our friend. We're gonna believe in him. But then T-Torture Baldy kept saying, no, Gray is our Nakama. No, I'm totally not kidding. It said Nakama on the manga stream translation. So he gets pissed off and opens his big ass moe eyes and decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna chop this girl in half, and picks up a freaking axe and was about to chop Lucy in half. You know, he could have like did that instead of the whole like goat thing, but whatever, because at the end of the day, Lucy gets saved because T-Torture Guy gets frozen by Gray. Yeah, Gray was never evil. Oh my god. Actually, I'm kind of relieved because I was worried that Gray was going to be the new Sasuke in Fairy Tail, which I really didn't want. But yeah, it turns out that he was the double agent sent by Erza. And we actually see Erza at the end of this chapter, and, well, she looks the same as always. So yeah, Gray was never evil. So what the fuck is the point of the whole Frosch will get killed by Gray? If Gray was never evil in the first place, then what is the point of bringing this up? I mean, Gray wouldn't gain anything from killing Frosch, so again, there really was no need to bring back the whole future rogue thing. So Avatar was kind of right to suspect Gray, but turns out they were a bunch of idiots. All that, and Gray was a pretty good actor. And Natsu Lucy did almost blow their cover, but, you know, since T. Torture Baldy was the only one there, so I guess it was safe for him to reveal that he hasn't gone evil. Oh, and the marking! He can actually control that now, so yeah. So we actually learned why Gray infiltrated Avatar, as they're able to communicate with Erza with transmission lock remote looking like iPhones while they're riding to get to Avatar's location. This was an assignment requested by Jellal and Grimar Hearts, so Erza had been researching on Avatar. She eventually ran into Gray and convinced him to do this infiltration mission. And why Juvia didn't know about this? Well, Erza told him not to tell her, because the less people who know about the plan, the greater the chances for a successful mission. Well, I guess that would make sense, but considering what Juvia's been going through for the past 6 months, Gray really has to come up with a good apology for Juvia. And as for the marking on his body, well, that's all taken care of by Polyurshka, so now he has full control over it. So, yeah, one chapter, everything is kind of resolved quite easily. Well, sort of. There's still the matter of Avatar to deal with. So Erza's gonna meet up with Natsu and the others when they take on Avatar. And while they're riding, Gray apologizes to Lucy about what he said, but he did mean what he meant about finding End and destroying it. And we also learn more about Operation Purification. It seems that Avatar intends to destroy an entire town in order to summon Zareth so that they can see him. All of that, just so that they can summon Zareth. Like, seriously? Well, then again, this is a Zareth worshipping cult, so what do you expect? And they believe that Zareth will show up wherever death gathers, so large amounts of death, Zareth might be there, I guess. Now, if Gray did infiltrate Avatar, he could have easily kicked their asses. Well, it turns out that this Avatar was just a single unit. There are multiple units of Avatar, and all of them are going to gather in this one location, which is where Natsu and the others are heading. So if they take out all of Avatar in that one location, then they'll stop Operation Purification and win. So Avatar was outside the town and were about to attack it, but they were stopped by Gray, Lucy, and Natsu, while Erza attacks Avatar from behind, just with a single sword while riding on a horse, which actually looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. So they're gonna attack Avatar, and I found it hilarious that scruffy hot guy, I forgot his name, Jerome, sorry. Yeah, Jerome was actually shocked that Gray betrayed him, yet he was the one that was the most suspicious over Gray being the mole. So you know what, Jerome? You're an idiot. So yeah, the old fairy tale team's gonna reunite and take on Avatar. It's actually gonna be kind of interesting, but considering what happens at the end of this Avatar arc, let's just say when that chapter happened, a lot of fans were pissed. And I don't blame them. Till next time.